Well. Antonio Brown released by the New England Patriots, something we've been talking about on the Fantasy Football Show for quite some time. That it was time to sell. Turn down the air conditioning, they're blasting in the speaker. Time to sell, and people should have sold for top 5 to 7 wide receiver value, which is what he had for quite a bit. So, damn. Antonio Brown released by the New England Patriots. What's this mean? Well, it means that we're free Josh Gordon. Hashtag free Josh Gordon. Josh Gordon now jumps right back into potentially low-end wide receiver 1 numbers. Edelman finds his way back into high-end wide receiver 2, or at least decent wide receiver 2 numbers. But for sure, man, I'm looking at Josh Gordon as a low-end wide receiver 1 or a really high-end wide receiver 2. So I'm excited about this move for Josh Gordon. He deserves it. AB, there's something wrong with AB. Something clearly wrong inside that man's head. And I think only now people will start talking about it, like in terms of CTE. His career is most definitely over. I mean, if the New England Patriots give up on him, and I don't think anybody, now I shouldn't say no one, because the NFL surprised me before. Teams have surprised me before. Dorsett, sure. New England kind of surprised me how quickly they jumped on that, given the bad press and how bad that was going to look. So, honestly, I don't know what to think in terms of like another team maybe giving him a chance. Yeah, Josh Gordon through the roof. But I do know that the odds are probably very unlikely that any team's going to go even poking around unless an investigation gets opened with this allegation case and then gets closed by not just, like if he settles or something. I mean, it's going to get worse. If it's going to get better, it needs to get worse first for Josh Gordon or for Antonio Brown. What I mean by that is the police probably need to open an investigation and then close it like they did with Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill, that investigation opening was the worst thing that could have happened to his value, but it also was the best thing when it closed. It basically allowed teams to say, hey, authorities don't think this needs to be pursued now. We don't look as bad going after him. That's the only shot Antonio Brown has, is if something gets open and closed quickly to kind of prove that the investigation itself is not legit or whatever. But the NFL had a long 10-hour interview. Grant with the super chat, do I drop AB completely or hold him just in case? Hold him a little bit unless there's like a really good player to pick up, depending on your options. But you definitely need to consider dropping him if there's like a legit option on your waiver wire. So it really depends on your free agent pool and stuff. So drop a comment if you can on who you could have, who you could pick up. You could pick up like, Tyrell Williams or something in your league's that small, then of course you probably want to make that move. But Antonio Brown's probably worth holding on to just for a little bit in case, he lands with another team real quick or something. But most likely, we will never see Antonio Brown play another snap in the NFL. That is the odds are against him ever suiting up for another NFL team ever again. When the New England Patriots give up on you after they just sign you to a contract that looks rather, I mean, God, think about what he did. He orchestrated his own release, tricked the entire NFL, manipulated the NFL, even if he didn't know that he was going to do that right away. Antonio Brown showed so much deception to a coach that probably in John Gruden was really freaking good to him. I bet you John Gruden was amazing. I bet you John Gruden couldn't have handled that situation any better. And Antonio Brown acted like he was a prisoner and captive individual under the reign of John Gruden. And he manipulates John Gruden. And sadly, one of the greatest wide receivers. Yeah, he's going to be one of the greatest ever. And he says, please do earlier live streams for us East Coast fans. I'm doing that right now for you, buddy. But John Gruden, guys, he couldn't have been any better, I bet. And Antonio Brown acted like a prisoner. Goes to New England after manipulating the entire league and entire fantasy world, because we all thought that this guy, was crazy. That he wasn't orchestrating any of it. He is crazy. But I think what we learned is that he's equal parts crazy and equal parts conniving, because if he was just only crazy, he wouldn't have wiggled his way out of this situation either. Man. So Josh Gordon vaults into my low-end wide receiver 1, or at least high-end wide receiver 2 category. Free, hashtag free Josh Gordon. That's what we've been saying on the sleeperu.com forums for the last, 12 hours, hoping that Josh Gordon would be freed. And when I say freed, I mean set back into the wide receiver 1 territory is what we were hoping for. And Josh Gordon does return. Great news for Edelman. Edelman and Gordon were like almost guys you did to start this week. That's how much target share Antonio Brown was hogging up by being involved. Gronk return. Maybe this does have Gronk return later. I don't know. Everybody makes fun of people that pick up Gronk right now, but I don't know. I don't rip on anybody if they have a spot to burn and they want to hold Gronk, but if you're in a small league, you can't really do that. But Gronk, could he return? Sure. I'm not really worried about that right now. I don't know that Gronk would be efficient like week 1 or that he'd ever really be the same. I don't know. I'd have to assess that when the time comes. Right now, all I know is that Josh Gordon is back on top. And we need to cue some kind of music. Actually, I don't want to get a YouTube notice. You played unofficial music on your show. Otherwise, I'd cue some music. I wish I had somebody in the car to hum some music for me. Some kind of like drum roll or like, Back in Black AC. What is it? AC/DC. Okay, you got AB cut with your free Josh Gordon talk. I'm disappointed in you, Smitty. Sorry, Mercado, but you should have traded Antonio Brown when we said to trade him for, weeks now. As soon as he vaulted up to... Whoa. Drop the phone there. As soon as Antonio Brown vaulted into top 5-7 wide receiver status, you should have traded laterally for a struggling Mike Thomas. Laterally for a struggling... Juju Smith-Schuster, who a lot, and don't tell me you couldn't have done that, because I had several people in the live say I traded Antonio Brown for Juju, and it's freaking genius. Trading low for Mike Evans would not have been hard using Antonio Brown at Antonio Brown's peak coming off of week 2. And I'm not trying to like rub it in on anybody that didn't get rid of him in time. Just that, this had the smell of you need to make a move or you're going to get freaking burned. I said about 2.5 weeks ago that I said it on my live, close your eyes. Everybody can do this right now too. And now it's going to be clear as day. But I'm like, envision Antonio Brown playing multiple games for the New England Patriots. Multiple. In a row. And I couldn't see it. And this is why. Because even if he was to escape this whole situation, I said another shoe would drop. And another shoe dropped. And it's because he's text messaging the accuser. And I believe I read somewhere that he included the attorney when he sent her messages or something. I don't know if that's accurate or true. If anybody knows that, they can confirm that from something they've read. But what an idiot. What an idiot. He couldn't leave it alone. I mean, in a sense, it's an entirely different situation. Yes, it's related. But the other shoe to drop was him sending threatening text messages to accusers. Or at least one accuser. Like, what are you thinking? This guy obviously doesn't have the ability to think any longer. And you have to wonder if it's because of his Pee-wee Pop Warner helmet that he keeps converting into a man helmet. And I think of it like a little bit of Play-Doh. If you're going to take a little helmet of Play-Doh and make it into a big Play-Doh, what the hell happens to that helmet? It gets thinner and thinner, and you ruin the helmet. And he's supposed to wear this helmet that he wore when he was in Pop Warner? Like, what the hell? The helmet, later on, everyone's going to be like, this is why the helmet was such a big deal to the NFL. Maybe they know something about Antonio Brown's head. But we can make fun of him and talk about him in negative ways. But the bottom line is there might be a more serious underlying issue that we shouldn't even be joking around about or making fun of, and that's CTE and the head injuries that this guy must have incurred. There's something, yeah, and that's what Roger's just actually saying right now. Roger, great minds think alike. There's not a lot of people talking about CTE right now. There's not a lot of people worried about Antonio Brown. Everybody's ripping on Antonio Brown. And I can't read all the comments right now, guys, because as you can see, I'm, yeah, be careful, Smitty. I'm telling you guys, later on, we're going to start seeing a shift in the way the media is treating this. Right now, the media is in, oh, let's attack Antonio Brown. And I don't blame him. I'm attacking him, and I'm pissed off about him. But I don't own any shares, so I don't know why I'm really that angry. I'm angry for those of you that didn't get rid of them in time. I take your leagues passionately, and it hurts me. I could be giving 100 pieces of advice that land, and it's the one person that emails me and says, Smitty, should I start D.D. Westbrook or, you know, Tyrell Williams in week 1? And I'm like, oh, God, D.D. Westbrook, and then Tyrell Williams goes off. That one piece of advice, even though I gave 100 other pieces of great advice, that one negative thing brings my whole day down because I'm passionate for you guys. So I'm mad for all of you that couldn't get rid of AB early enough, because it's something I've been pushing for like 2 weeks. But I will say that the odds are, if you did acquire Antonio Brown, you acquired him on the cheap. It wasn't like you went out and paid huge bucks, so it's not like you're out all that much, I assume. And if you drafted him and held on to him the whole time, you had a chance to sell him high and you didn't, but you took a gamble and it didn't pay off. And it was like, I also said a couple times, to be honest, that if I could buy him at really low value, I wanted a piece of that low investment potential. But that's the only thing that ever was attractive to me in terms of owning Antonio Brown once all this started getting going. When you could have got him at, like, when he got cut, there was a small window of time, like a 6 to 8 hour window, where you could have bought Antonio Brown for a ham sandwich. And then it was the house's money. Hold on to him, let him burn. It doesn't really cost you anything. Those are the people I think that'll be okay. You need Miss Smitty to get you a cell phone car dash holder. I actually have one down here, but it's like low. Is that all right? Is that all right? I got my drink in the way. There. How's that? How's that? I like how Miss Smitty's got to get it, though. I can't get it. Miss Smitty's got to get it. I'm too busy. All right. So I'm just going to tell you guys that I'm not surprised whatsoever. Not even a little bit surprised by this at all. Because like I told you, I can't hold it there. I couldn't envision Antonio Brown whatsoever playing multiple games for the New England Patriots in a row. Like, I was actually surprised he was heading into week 3, and I felt like that was crazy enough. You know, I couldn't even envision him playing multiple games in a row. He is such a head case, and again, I predict that the NFL and a lot of people start coming out in a positive way of how to help avoid players from turning into what Antonio Brown's turning into. So I do hope that they start turning in that direction. I do hope that Antonio Brown, the problem is his allegations are going to cast a shadow on, okay, let's not make Antonio Brown the CTE poster boy because of the sexual allegations that are against him. So it's kind of like, they're like, damn it, we want to talk about somebody and get the awareness out, and this is a serious issue, but how do we use Antonio Brown as the poster boy when he's been involved in these sexual allegations? So I think that's what's holding the NFL back and people back from tying him to CTE or really trying to dig into this from that angle, because they're afraid of like, you know, you don't get that many shots to highlight something like that in a very powerful way, and you're going to use Antonio Brown to highlight it. But it just goes to show what happens to you when you get hit over and over in the NFL. Equipment, that's got to be what's happened with that freaking helmet. And I don't know about you guys, but I watched a game in week 2, and Antonio Brown's helmet didn't look like anybody else's helmet. Did anybody else see that? I was watching Antonio Brown on the field. Everyone's helmet looked pretty much the same, but Antonio Brown's helmet didn't look like anyone else's helmet. I really wonder if he snuck his old helmet back onto the field again. I'm not sure if anybody else felt that way. There was only a couple of shots where they zoomed in where you could kind of tell, and his helmet did not look like anyone else's helmet. I want to try and find a photo of that and make sure I'm correct on that, but that's how I took it. But anyway, back on top is a little guy named Josh Gordon. Josh Gordon's ready to go and return to his old wide receiver one self, his low wide receiver one self. I'm excited. I hope you're excited. I'm almost parked so I can answer questions. So bear with me as I get chauffeured around. I'm not driving while I do this. I would never do that. So hold on when my chauffeur pulls over and I'll answer some questions. Damar's Crazy Talk? No, I haven't seen Damar's Crazy Talk yet. I will look for it. Is it up above? Repost it for me so I can read it. But thank you for the super chat. If I missed the super chat while I was driving, someone please tell me. Yep, so if you're just joining us, Antonio Brown released by the New England Patriots. They want to move in another direction. My guess is that the NFL had something to do with this because they probably sat down with New England and said, hey, through our 10-hour interview, this is one effed up individual, the 10-hour individual that we have with the accuser. We want to let you know that we're heading in a certain direction with Antonio Brown. I bet you that weighed into New England's decision. Mixon or Hardman, you don't bench Mixon after. I'm not even a Mixon fan, and I avoided him at all costs. I said do not go after Mixon. But even being a Mixon doubter, after 2 weeks, you better not be benching your number 2 overall player. That's crazy talk. Pick up Philip Dorsett. I think you could, depending on your league size. Brown, I'd say I traded for Juju yesterday, and the guy had AB. Anybody that traded, and this is something we preached a lot for like a week and a half at least, to go get a Juju on the cheap using like an AB. Go get and I even went on a live on Instagram and said that going and getting Melvin Gordon feels about as important as selling Antonio Brown on the high and early. And so I hope people hear this, that I believe the buying low of Melvin Gordon before we even get close to sniffing his return, because as soon as we get just a whiff of that man returning, his value is going to go through the roof. So as important as it was to sell Antonio Brown before again, and the shoes started to drop, I believe going and getting Melvin Gordon is just as impactful to your fantasy football season. So please understand what I'm throwing down here with this Melvin Gordon buy low talk. I'm trying my best to give you, I think, the thing that I can come up with. Is my AC blowing right on the speaker? I'm sorry. No one said anything. I'm almost parked here and I can answer questions for a good, 10 minutes. So start getting your questions ready. Let's do it. Josh Gordon. I'm sure I'm going to see a lot of, hey, Smitty, should I start Josh Gordon over? Should I start Josh Gordon over? And you know what? My answer is probably going to be yes, yes, and yes. I think Josh Gordon returns to massive status. Beast mode status. Josh Gordon. I'm starting Josh Gordon in a grip of leagues, and I'm damn proud about it. All right, bear with me. I'm going to park here and answer some questions here. For those that don't know, I have my Take a Lap t-shirts up for sale. If you want to purchase a Take a Lap t-shirt, I try to price them so that I don't really even profit off them, just so that, that pays for the creation of them. So they're like, that's why the weird pricing is like $17.20 for a Take a Lap t-shirt. And that's so it's set at the lowest profit level I can make it. So if you want to Take a Lap t-shirt, you go on over to sleeperu.com/merch, MERCH, and buy your Take a Lap t-shirt so that we can start guerrilla marketing all over the streets of wherever you're from. Let's go. Let's go questions. Let's go. I am a Sun Devil. I am a Sun Devil, bro. I go Gordon, says Scott. Scored. What's the question? Hit me with the questions. Go. Smitty. Trade away Waller, Cooks, and received Hill and Hawkinson. Waller, Cooks, Hill, Hawkinson. I like it. I like it. If you can weather through Hill. Do I drop AB? Alexander depends on who you can pick up, but I don't know that he ever plays again. Could anything happen? Yeah, that's why I wait a little bit. You know, like find out what the news wires are going to be saying in the next few days. But I just ate. Do I drop Dorsett? I maybe look at Dorsett. Gordon or Diggs? I kind of like Gordon right now. Darrell Williams or Darwin Thompson? Darwin, but we kind of don't know what's going to happen in that game. I think Shady's trending in the right direction, I heard, and then I heard that he is questionable and they're not sure he's going to play. Smitty ain't playing games, says Big Timer. No, I'm not. Philip Dorsett, I think he's going to come on big. No, he could. He could be like sporadic, but it's Josh Gordon, baby. Time to buy him, Brown. Why don't you wait till somebody drops him and just pick him up? McDonald or Waller? I go Waller, but you're not crazy to think that Mason Rudolph's going to connect with him. He already has. He shows good rapport. Wildcats, though, no. No Wildcats. Get your Wildcats out of here. Gordon or Cooks? Gordon. AB to Seattle or Green Bay? Why would they do that? Nobody's going to sign him right now. We're talking carry on or Gordon. Gordon for now in PPR. Waller, McDonald, Waller. Thank God, haha. So how is he reading the questions, Sam? Well, I'm parked now, so I wasn't reading them earlier. Helping out our peeps, Smitty. Smitty, you handsome devil. Do I start Monty? Hands, get it? Look what he did there. Look what he did there. Do I start Monty, Breda, or Boyd at flex? I go Boyd if you want safety in PPR. Monty if you like dice rolling. Offer DJ and Mike Thomas for Kamara. I would not trade DJ and Mike Thomas for Kamara. I buy low on Kamara, but you're buying Kamara at like 1.01 value right there. Don't do that. I'm feeling risky and may play Darwin. I'm playing Darwin in one league. I mean, I'm struggling in that league to fill a spot, but I like it. I'm feeling good about it. Steelers backup QB tonight. You're asking who their backup is? Blanking out on who their backup would be now. Trade Bell and receive Melvin Gordon, Michael Thomas, and Chris Thompson. I do that in a heartbeat. Why I do that? Because I think Michael Thomas could easily be worth Bell alone. You get Melvin Gordon. That's how you do it. That's how you do it, Malone. Malone, that's how you do it. Amazing. That's genius. That's how I've been trying to acquire Melvin Gordon. You do a slight downgrade, have them throw in Melvin Gordon, and your slight downgrade might even be a downgrade because people are worried about Mike Thomas. Well, worry about him all you want, and he just gave you potentially a top 6 to 10 running back in Melvin Gordon. No one's realizing what Melvin Gordon's going to do when he returns. Like as if he can't be elite. Like as if it's outside the realm of possibility that this guy comes back. And the AB news might make Melvin Gordon owners a little bit uncomfortable right now. I bet you it plants a seed with Melvin Gordon owners right now thinking, God, this might not work out. I don't want to deal with what Antonio Brown owners are dealing with right now. I better maybe take what I can get for Melvin Gordon. Take advantage of what this might be doing to those owners. Hill and Gordon for Michael Thomas. Hill and Gordon for Michael Thomas. I mean, I could see it either way on that one. Duke Johnson, Royce Freeman, or Cohen. go Royce Freeman for right now in a 0.5 PPR. For his full PPR, I might go Cohen, but I think you go Freeman. I think Freeman could get more carries this week. I picked up Tyreek Hill and Mike Evans off of waivers. People gave up on them. Mo, I'd love to know the league that you're playing in, because that doesn't sound like a league full of people that really know what they're doing. Evans or Juju? I would go Juju, but how are you even having that dilemma? How are you not starting both those guys? Mixon for Melvin. If you have Bell, Chubb, Freeman, Singletary. I mean, it's Dylan. It might sound crazy to other people. It doesn't sound crazy to me. I don't like Mixon at all, but I feel like you still should be able to get more. Sup, Smitty? At work, didn't see you were live. Sent you an email. Fly, thank you. I'll check it out. Smitty, Darwin over Devonta Freeman this week. I'm feeling lucky. Darwin over Devonta Freeman. I would go Darwin. I know it's crazy, but I'd do it. MVS or Mecole Hardman. I go Mecole Hardman. Although, dude, any one of those guys could go off or bust. You're talking about a 50-50 call there. Smitty, you see my bet? No. What is it? Is Deion Lewis droppable? Probably. Christian Kirk or Juju? Come on. Austin, take a lap right now. Juju Smith-Schuster was potentially, in some people's mind, a first rounder. And in most people's mind that wanted to play it safe, top of the second. And after 2 weeks, you're ready to put in Christian Kirk, who I like. He's a good wide receiver 3. But how are you talking about your wide receiver 3 with your number 1 wide receiver? How is that conversation happening? What's happening with the 2 players in between? Why are you not talking about benching one of those players for Kirk? How is it you're going straight to your number 1, a guy that I still feel is a top 15 overall player? No, Austin, take a lap. Take a lap. I'm about to take a lap for you, because you're saying this on my show, and that's my responsibility. I feel obligation to take a lap. Was AB cut? AB was cut. Jimmy Graham, Steelers. Or Jimmy Garoppolo versus Steelers or Wilson. I go Wilson. Goff. Jack. Stop. Drummond, I almost read that. AB is a clown. That's true. Josh Gordon, wide receiver 2 here on out. Maybe more, bro. Maybe better. Darwin or Breda. That's a coin toss. Darwin if you're a dice rolling fool. Breda if you want safety with still some decent upside. But, Breda is probably safer. But I don't know. I'm starting Darwin. I'm kind of excited about it. It could burn. I could crash and burn in that league because of it, though. I admit it. Adams for Juju and carry on. I take, depending on what you need. I'm not that down on Juju. I think people are crazy thinking he can't be still near Devonta Adams' value. So if you can turn carry on into something else, because I'm not a big carry on fan. I love the Juju carry on side, because if you can turn him into a Melvin Gordon, I'd do that. My opponent has Dalvin Cook and Odell. Should I start Hardman and Robinson? Every Mahomes deep pass would get me points. I mean, it depends on your options, bro. Take his bet, Smitty. I don't know what bet it was. Eckler for Evans is a great trade. Yeah, I trade Eckler for Evans all day long. Watkins for Gordon. I like both of them. I like both of them, but I think Gordon might have a little more value now that he's the number 1 again in New England. Brandon Cooks or Malcolm Brown. Cooks is safer. Brown has a little more risk and maybe a touch more upside, but get fired up, Smitty. Smitty was offered Kamara for Dalvin Cook. You take Dalvin Cook right now, but don't think that Kamara can't still be that good, but you take Dalvin Cook. If DJ finishes above, is this the bet? If DJ finishes above Cook, I get a free sleeper you next year, and if Cook finishes higher, then I buy. I can't accept all these guys, because then people start coming out of the freaking woodwork offering me every single thing in the world, like, Smitty, why won't you take my bet over everything I say? But, DeMar, because you are a regular here, and DeMar, because you are the man, despite us disagreeing, I'm going to take this bet. And everybody's witnessing it. But doesn't mean I'm going to accept every bet anybody throws at me, because I could do that all day long. If you're a big part of the show, I might consider those kinds of things. So ink it down, boy. Ink it down. Let me go down to the bottom. I'm sorry if I missed your question. Oh, Super Chat. Super Chat fly. Brady is my backup to Jackson. Should I get an Evans or Galladay for Brady and Ross? Evans. Go get Evans. I'd consider Galladay too, but go get Evans. That would be absolutely fantastic. You'd be crushing it. Hey, Smitty, veto my own trade. Singletary for AB. I love that when someone makes a trade and they take part in the veto process and they veto their own trade. It's hilarious. John Brown, Sterling Shepard, or Shady McCoy at flex. John Brown, Sterling Shepard. John Brown by quite a bit, bro. Antonio. Devontae Adams for Thielen and Melvin Gordon. I kind of like that in a way, man. I think Thielen is very undervalued. I don't draft Thielen because he goes way too high, but I trade for Thielen. And Melvin Gordon could help win you a league. So I'll tell you this, Aiden. If you need something like this in order to get back in the mix, if your team's not like 1-1 or 0-2, then maybe you take that gamble. But the risk you run is that if Thielen doesn't play anywhere near Adams' level, you lose. You know, and you lose multiple more weeks, and then you're kind of not even able to come back. But if you're already down, I think maybe you take that chance, go Thielen and Melvin Gordon. But it's crazy, you know. It is a little bit dice rolly. Who are you? Says Jake. I don't know if you're talking to me, Jake. Smitty, I think Myers is a sleeper. Yeah, and maybe just maybe a little guy named what's his name? N'Keal Harry gets back in the mix toward the end of the year. I love how everyone thinks N'Keal Harry's done. Just because he got hurt, he hasn't played yet. Should I cut Brown for Gordon? Yeah. If that is the move you have to make to get Gordon, you do it. Montgomery or Godwin. Godwin's safer. Doesn't mean that Montgomery can't get there. Montgomery got Russell Wilson, Howard, Djax, and John Brown and Cobb on the bench. I don't know what the other part of that question was. Where do you think AB is going? I think AB is going to the psych ward. I don't think AB goes anywhere. Why would another team sign him after he just got released by the New England Patriots? He's a cancer to a locker room, and he's a head case, and they need to look into his health. You trading Gurley for Thielen? I'd trade Gurley for Thielen. So don't give him those eyes, DZ, because if you're giving him those eyes, you're giving me those eyes. I'd trade Gurley for Thielen all day. Monty, Kirk, Aguilar, best two, Monty and Kirk for now. 0-2 with Mahomes, Barkley, Peterson, Lockett, Fitz, Ertz, Ebron. Barkley, Mahomes, how are you 0-2, man? Trade Lockett on the high, potentially trade Ertz on the high, get some other pieces and try and fill that tight end spot. That's how you can come back. All right, guys, I appreciate all of you. I got to bail for now, picking up my little one, and I wanted to break this news to you. Antonio Brown released by the New England Patriots. He may never play another down again. Josh Gordon is back. Josh Gordon might just be a low-end wide receiver one again. Hashtag free Josh Gordon. Antonio Brown cut by the New England Patriots. We talked about it for about a week and a half, 2 weeks, saying trade him high. You will never be able to trade him for a top 5 to 7 wide receiver again because another shoe will drop. And what happened? Shoe dropped. And now anybody that had a chance to get a top 5 to 7 potential value via trade using Antonio Brown's new inflated New England Patriot value is now left in the lurch. And I don't know what else to say. All I can tell you is go get Melvin Gordon. That's the next move that can impact as much as selling high on AB could have impacted your team. The second most impactful thing, aside from what I just said for 2 weeks on AB, is go get Melvin Gordon before anybody even sniffs his return. Because once they sniff it and take it in, He's going to be back in everybody's mind as a top 5 to 10 running back, but you can have him now for so much cheaper. That can win you a league. Go get it.